Hi, it's Tim Hagen from Progress Coaching, and welcome to another episode of Coaching Conversations. And I wanted to make you aware of something very cool that we're doing on a subscription basis, and we'll put a link in each one of our episodes. But every Wednesday, we're going to be doing what we call an audio podcast workshop. That workshop will be roughly about 14 to maybe 20 minutes per episode, with each month having a theme from a coaching model, using feedback strategically, to coaching self-awareness, and so on. So if you could look in the body or in the content description of each episode, and you will see a link where you can join this subscription. These are literally 4 workshops every month, teaching specific strategies to address a particular area of workplace coaching, as it relates, again, to things like awareness, motivation, teamwork, and what have you. Here's the cool thing. It's only $10 per month, and each month you will get a handout that we will follow along with. So we also give you a tool for you to take notes as we go through each episode. We hope you'll check it out. One of the most common areas we get questions on is, what do you do when you have someone with a negative attitude? How do you coach them and you just know it won't work? Well, first of all, we as coaches cannot make decisions for other people. We have to invest in the process. We have to invest with questions. We have to invest with actions, activities, learning projects, whatever the case might be. So I always go back to the fundamentals of coaching. We control 50%, and that's our approach. Those are the questions we use. Those are the physical qualities, the smiles we use, the body language. But ultimately, we're giving someone a choice. We are not changing people. We're giving people the choice to change. So when I have someone who says to me, what do I do with someone with a negative attitude? And they go on and on why the person is resistant. Well, that person's actually talked themselves into whatever they do, it's just not going to work. Therefore, the output of the coaching will probably not be as good as it could be. So the most fundamental question we can ask is something called a self-actualized question. So when you're coaching someone who has a negative attitude, here is one of the best things you can do, and it's called framing. Psychologists call it framing. It's actually used in marital disputes. So when people are having problems in their marriage, a psychologist or counselor will say, well, what did you enjoy about each other the most when you first got married? And it gets them to do what? 1, talk positively. 2, revisit the good times, which can change people's emotional states. So a self-actualized question is a what question plus a success imperative. So the best question you can ask somebody who has a negative attitude, and let's give you an example of somebody who's complaining about another person. Oh, this person, they never get back to me. They just don't care about the work. Can't you just hear people in your workplace talk like that? And you ask a question such as, so what are you going to do to successfully engage with that person? What are you going to do to successfully talk to them in a very diplomatic and friendly way? What are you going to do to successfully develop a partnership and a sense of teamwork that person will get back to you in the time frame that you need? What are you going to do to successfully approach that person where they're going to receive your feedback well in a very thoughtful and professional manner? Now, I just made those up. Now, I'm pretty well versed in using those questions, but the key is what plus a success imperative. Now, let me give you another example. We tend to be very rhetorical in leadership, and I'll give you one. If you happen to have children, this will resonate with you. What do we do when our son or daughter has a test next Tuesday? We remind them, and we brilliantly tell them, you have to study. Have your kids ever come up to you and hugged and kissed you and said, oh, I didn't know we had to study for that. Thanks for the revelation, Mom and Dad. And I bet you're laughing. What do kids do when we do that? They roll their eyes. They know. It doesn't mean they do it all the time. We both know that. But when you use a self-actualized question, you frame their output. So son or daughter, what are you going to do to successfully prepare for that test? And what assistance might you need from me? See, when you ask the first part, what are you going to do to successfully prepare for that test? The only way they can answer that is to do what? To answer it positively. Use self-actualized questions. It will serve you well. Thank you for listening to another episode of Coaching Conversations by Tim Hagen and Progress Coaching. Now, our company is always coming out with new and innovative solutions to help leaders coach their employees. And recently, we just created a new service called Coach to You, where leaders can pick and choose topics and assign
7 to 21 day programs for employees to learn and, more importantly, apply actions and then reflect and share what they're going to do going forward as a result of the learning. It's called Coach to You. We're literally bringing coaching to your employees. If you're intrigued, we'll have a link in each one of our episodes where you can get more information. And again, thank you so much for listening to another episode.